Hello, Gaston County. Welcome to episode number 93 of Gaston's Great, a podcast highlighting some of the great things happening in and around Gaston County. I'm your host, Stephen Long, and we are coming to you once again from the international headquarters of GSM Services right here in downtown Gastonia. We simply believe in discussing more of the reasons why Gaston's great. We have another great organization this week as we highlight Ignited Minds ABA Therapy. We have Alan Routhier. Gosh, I almost messed up. Alan is the owner of the organization. Alan, it's great to have you on, and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having us, for sure. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. So we're going to get right to it. And so if you don't mind, Alan, maybe just tell us first off, before we start really getting into the details of the organization, just tell us a little bit about yourself, anything you'd like to share.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm Alan Routhier. I actually just turned 31. So I am a young entrepreneur.
That is young, by the way.
So I was born and raised in Gaston County. I was mainly raised in the Bessemer City, Dallas area. And then recently moved into Gastonia, but now I reside in Belmont. So I'm super passionate about our special needs population. I'm a huge advocate for our population. So typically any special needs event, Webb Street School, anything like that, I'm always there, typically supporting or helping out, whether it's emceeing an event or cooking food, putting on a special needs prom for the Tim Tebow Foundation. That's another huge thing that we always like to do as well too. So
yeah, my daughter actually volunteered at that event this past fall.
I love it.
Yeah, we have great. It's at my mother's church is where that event is. Southminster Presbyterian.
Yeah. That is a great church. That is a great organization as well too. We have a huge team of people that put together a one-night event, and it takes so many people to be able to put that event together, but it's truly a magical night for our population. So very cool. All right. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. So again, the main point here is what can we learn about Ignited Minds ABA Therapy? So tell us about the organization. You we probably have listeners who aren't familiar with it. So what is it? What's kind of the mission of the organization? Your role? How you ended up involved? Just there, anything and everything you can share there. So Ignited Minds ABA, ABA actually stands for Applied Behavior Analysis. So we serve kids from the age of 2 to 12, and then we actually just opened a teen center for 13 to 18-year-olds. So ABA is Applied Behavior Analysis, so we study the behaviors of autism, and we really work with the kids on their meltdowns, their transitions, their daily living skills. We even potty train. We work with them on communication. We do have quite a few that are obviously nonverbal as well too. Okay. It's pretty normal with our population to see a child that is nonverbal as well too. But so we work on all of those things with the parents, with the kids, how to interact within a community, and just general day-to-day basis learning things as well too. We use token economies and things like that as a reward system to help the kids and motivate them. The biggest thing we want to do is motivate them to do these things. So how did you get involved with this organization? How did you start? How did this all come about, if you don't mind sharing? Yeah, so fun fact. So Ignited Minds started in 2018, actually. In 2018, we started out as childcare, and then the big C word, COVID, hit. So
we don't like to say that word.
Yeah, that's a tough one. So when COVID hit, we actually shut down for right at 2 years. So childcare didn't exist. So when we started the childcare, it was specifically for kids with special needs. We didn't limit. So you could have a child with autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, whatever. And so COVID hit, and then I could have put a huge damper on things. And then we, obviously with COVID lightening up and things like that, we saw the need, I saw the need, for ABA in our area. Now, ABA is specific to kids with autism, and there's such a lack of providers in this area. And so I was like, we really need to make this transition. And so we did. In late 2019, And then, so we started, the credentialing process with insurance and all that good stuff. So that took quite a while. The end of 2021 is when we officially took our first building, and made it a fun, just basically a fun zone for these kids. So November, December, and then January of 2022, we took our first set of kids for ABA therapy.
Okay.
And that's when we officially opened the doors for ABA therapy was January of 2022. So we operated all year last year, and we're actually at max capacity already. So within a year. So it just goes to show you that the need is definitely there for our population.
So where are you located?
900 Cox Road. So we actually started in Suite C, and we are now in Suite B, as in boy, and C. So we took over Suite B for the teen center. So Suite C is for the kids for 2 to 12, and then 13 to 18-year-olds go to Suite B.
Okay, very good. So when you say max capacity, I think before we started recording, 30 kids that you're typically dealing with, or
yep.
Okay.
So on a day-to-day basis, so we have, I want to say we're right at 8,000 square foot in that facility, and so the way that we have the facility laid out is just typically kid friendly. So we have all these separate rooms. So we have like a motor room. That motor room has swings, trampolines, little balls that they can bounce on. They can play tag and do all those types of things in that room. We also have like our smaller kiddos. They have their own room. And then we have a sensory room as well too. So if the kids get anytime throughout the day, if they they get overwhelmed or anything, we have like ball pits. We have a cloud room. We just cut the lights down real low, keep the air condition pumping in those rooms, make it super comfortable. And we have like lights that'll dim in and out, just really sensory friendly. We have a bunch of sensory friendly toys in there as well too. We have this it's hard to explain, but it's like basically like a big pool. And we fill it, typically we'll try to change things out. This week we have like 200 Beanie Babies in that pool.
Okay.
And so they can get in this pool and just kind of relax. Last week we had rice in it. We've put corn. We've done, we've done like sand before as well too. That's a little bit messy. So is the rice, but so, and then we have like a big net room, like where all of our kids just hang out as well too. And in that net room, we have like morning meeting. That's where all of the kids will get together, the 2 to 12 age range. And when they get together for their morning meeting, they'll do a song. They'll greet at each person, and they'll talk about like what's the weather like. Each day we go outside, we take a picture. We say, hey, what is the weather like? We talk about things like the weather, the temperature, how their day is going. And then they will break off from there, and then they kind of just go do their own thing. They all have goals that they're working on. And once, lunchtime comes around, we all eat lunch together as well, too. So we have a little spot for them to have lunch. Trying to think of some. We have like parent meeting rooms. We have a clinical office, and then on the teen side, we've tried to keep it completely separate. We have a training center on that side with the teen side, and then teens they have a lot of cool rooms actually. So they actually have their own rooms. There's only like 1 to 2 teens in each room.
Okay.
And then they actually have a really cool game room. So we did like Mortal Kombat, and then they have like Mario Kart, an Xbox, PlayStation, stuff like that too. So I mean, they have all kinds of stuff in there. So
all right, so you just kind of went through kind of maybe initiatives or the day in the life kind of at the organization or at the facility. So, I mean, is there anything to add? Because one of the questions we like to ask is talk about some of the initiatives of the organization here. So was there anything to add to that, or did you kind of cover?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much. Just for my company. So there's actually 3 competitors all on the same street.
Okay.
We're all right there. I think kind of like what sets us aside though is like we're mission driven. So we're a nonprofit. as far as like the other companies, I can't speak for them obviously, but we are specifically a nonprofit because we like to give back to the community as well too, in a multitude of different ways, and we can jump down into that in the future questions.
Okay,
down here too.
So let's jump to the next one. So if I heard you right, so last January of 2022 is kind of when this really got kicked off in its current form, or exactly what you're doing. So can you, thinking back in the last year and a half, anything jump out as you as a success, or you're seeing a specific impact, or any anecdotal? I know our listeners like to hear. Is any anecdotal stories or anything you can share? That you and your team have witnessed there.
So I jotted down quite a few different things.
Yeah,
but
that's good.
So the biggest success that we see has been in quite a few of our kids. So we had a set of few kids that came in completely nonverbal. Some of them may or may not have had a speech device, i.e. like an iPad or something like that to help them communicate. And we are already seeing them starting to use, 10 to 15 words, 10 to 20 words. So that is extreme growth for us. That is excellent. Whether it's saying yes, no, or no, thank you, or, just small words like that, that is something. Okay, so that is a huge success for us. Like I said, we have like 3 or 4, give or take, that came in that were completely nonverbal. So now that they're starting to use those words, that's great. One of the other things is potty training. So this is a huge thing for our population. So we actually just in the I would say the past 2 weeks, we had 2 additional kids that came in, and they've been with us for a while. They have not been potty trained, and they are officially potty trained. And like, that is a huge thing for our population.
And for the parents and
that's what really hits at home with us. Sure. Is like when we start seeing these messages come from the parent, like, thank you so much. Like, my child literally just used the bathroom or asked me to use the bathroom. Like, so those are like the biggest things. Like, so we like to see those results. So when we see those results, we know we're making the difference.
All right. So that's fairly good. So looking ahead, I like this question about looking ahead, and you mentioned it already, but what do you see for the future? I mean, not quite 18 months in, we're getting close to that. So it's not a long history, so to speak, but what do you, looking ahead, what do you see the future of the organization next year, 5 to 10 years down the road? Just anything you can share.
So I see where it said 5 to 10 years, and I was like, we'll probably move a little bit quicker than that. But so my ultimate goal for Ignited is to have anywhere from 5 to 8 locations in the surrounding area. So I've always said, Gaston is going to be my primary. That's where I live. That's my number one. So we've got that now. We opened the teen center in Gaston as well too. So it's always been my vision for us to go to Gaston, Cleveland, Lincoln, and then Charlotte. So we are crossing our fingers, but we're actually working on a couple of more locations as we speak. So we've got some big things in the works, but that has always been our goal, is to have anywhere from 5 to 8 locations serving as many kids as possible. Not to have that big company mentality, but to make sure that we are still mission driven and making a difference more than anything.
Okay, all right, that's good. Vision. Without vision, right? There's just nothing. What are you doing without? Yeah, thank you.
Exactly.
Frankly, without vision that's based on a mission, it's hard to move forward. Things just happen haphazardly, and we have learned. I think we've learned that the hard way here at GSM over the years. So, how does a family get their child involved? I mean, is there a screening process? How do you get in touch with them? I mean, how does that work?
So obviously a lot of the doctors nowadays are around us. We're partnering with them.
Okay.
So they know of the ABA agencies around, but typically if a parent is seeing autism tendencies, they'll take their child to the doctor. The doctor will then refer out to us. And so as soon as we receive the doctor referral, we take that doctor referral and we reach out to the parent. and we have to, insurance has to have a psychological evaluation. So if the child has not been diagnosed with autism, we actually do that as well too. So we have a full-time psychologist as well too who sits on our team, and we'll diagnose, and then once we have that diagnosis, we will do an assessment process. So that assessment process is kind of like where one of our BCBAs, which is a board-certified behavior analyst, they will sit in, they'll put the plan in place, they'll put the goals in place, and they are the ones who are going to be, working with the parents on those goals and things like that. So once they complete their assessment, they will do the determination of how many hours a week we want to see that child. So, and it can depend, depending on the functionability of the child. It can, we can see a child from 15 hours a week all the way up to close to 35 to 38 hours a week. So we'll put that plan in place, and then we submit it to insurance, and they either approve or deny from there.
All right. So is this typically? So you just mentioned some time frames. Is this typically Monday through Friday that you have kids there all day during like what we would call normal working hours, or how does that look?
So it's Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., and then we do the second and fourth Saturday as like a makeup day. So like if a child misses a day during the week, they can come on a Saturday from 9 to 1 and make that session up as well too. And it kind of helps the parents as well too. If they have something to do on a Saturday or something, they can also, take advantage of that as well and run out from 9 to 1 and go get your things done. Absolutely.
Okay. So this is very good. This is interesting because, again, it's something I'm just not personally familiar with until I did a little research beforehand. Yep. So, remembering that this is a podcast about Gaston County, we're trying to highlight, positive things going on. Why would you say, and you've already shared a bunch of reasons already, but I'm going to ask this question anyway. But so why would you say, Alan, Gaston County is better because, Ignited Minds ABA therapy is here?
Because personally, that's, this is my area. This is my hometown. This is where I was born and raised. So, for us, it's making that difference. More than anything in the community. We have such a great community, and we personally at Ignited Minds have had so much help from the community as well too. So the fact that the community is willing to get behind us and stand behind us and help us do fundraisers and support us, and then I can actually give you a great example. The Sergeants Association with the Gastonia Police Department. Okay. We actually just did a badge fundraiser with them. So for the whole month of April, they sold police badges with the autism puzzle pieces and things like that as well too. So we took that money that was raised with that, and we bought iPads and things for the kids and for the staff. So things like that. That's what's really important to me is to see that the community really stands behind our mission as well too, and they want to give back just as much as we do. So,
what about like currently? What are your current biggest need, or in the short term, or do you have volunteers, or is it all staff based that work for you guys? Are there any events coming up that you guys might be involved with? Anything like that?
Yeah. So what I like to do actually, since we're a nonprofit, every month we try to find an event to attend personally. So we'll either sponsor the event, and then myself or some of my team will actually go out to that event. So this month in Kings Mountain, I cannot remember it for the life of me. Nikisha Wenzel is actually, I believe she's one of the pastors at this church, but they're putting on a pool day for the kids, and it's actually Saturday from 1 to 6. They're providing food, obviously pools, water balloons, all kinds of stuff. And it is specifically for our special needs population. So cool. Events like that is what really it makes a difference as well. It makes a difference as well too, especially for us, because I get to take my team out there. We volunteer, we contribute. We try to fill that gap too. So every month we try to find at least one event for our staff to attend as well too.
All right, very good. So we're recording this. What's today? May 24th.
Yeah.
So it probably won't be released until mid-June. So So I point that out just because if something that happens frequently when somebody mentions an event or something coming up, and when the actual it's released, it's already
gotcha.
passed. But the point, that's a good point. So are those things that y'all maybe put on website or social media or anything that you make to make people aware of that kind of thing?
Absolutely. So so every time we find an event, or if we're attending an event or something like that, I will personally share it on my social media, and then we'll share it on the company page as well too. Mainly for the awareness, for Gaston County as well too. So if somebody in Gaston County is following our page, they can also see that, hey, we'll be there at that event, but it's open to the public, so come and join us.
Sure. So before we move on to some of these super important questions that we like to ask on our podcast, because it's about Gaston County, is there anything I haven't asked that I should have asked? Anything you'd like to share? Now, before we finish, we will make sure that our listeners know where to find information about the organization, donate or anything. We'll make sure we swing back around and cover that. But anything I haven't asked or something that you'd like to share before we shift gears just briefly?
Yeah, no, I think we've pretty much covered everything. But I definitely, obviously, want to make sure we hit it home with the community. So, within this community and things like this right here that we're doing with this podcast, that's kind of like what makes the difference too. So we appreciate you guys helping us out and allowing us to come on a podcast like this too.
Oh,
so
absolutely. We appreciate that. So as usual, we'll be letting you know how to share this as well when the time comes, and because we're still every week we're asking for everybody to share, and the more people hear these type of things, again, the better it is for our community.
Absolutely.
So this is, again, a podcast about Gaston County, and we have these questions that we like to ask, whether our guests want to answer them or not. That's just that's how we roll here at Gaston's Great. And this is the questions that, your team, your family, anybody that knows you, this is what they really want to know about you, Alan, right?
That's right.
And we're going to call this the ignited speed round of questions.
We love that.
I mean, I got to come up with something more exciting every week. All right, Alan, first question is, what is your favorite Tony's ice cream flavor?
100%. That's going to be grape.
That's got to be the most popular answer.
Is that what y'all see all the time?
It is. It is surprising. It is a surprising answer. That and black cherry are probably the most popular. I mean, chocolate gets in there some because those chocolate milkshakes are just legit.
Yeah.
From Thomas, but the grape is a popular because I think it's unusual, and there's not many places you can get it.
Honestly, I think that's what it is too. Yeah. I really do. Like I've never tried the black cherry, but I might have to give that a try too.
Yeah, we had I know I say this every now and then, but I don't remember what episode it was. But you can go back to when the Gaston Business Association was on. We actually had a live taste test on, and it seems like black cherry was the winner, if I remember correctly.
Where were we for this?
Yeah, it was cool. We had black cherry, lemon, grape, and something else. It seemed, I don't remember, but I think even that particular day was black cherry was the winner.
Wow.
So Sundrop or Cheerwine?
Oh, Sundrop. What is it for you guys? Sundrop.
I'm a Cheerwine person, probably. I used to be when I was younger. I was all Sundrop, but I can hardly drink Sundrop anymore because
I know
the Cheerwine. But they're both good and local.
Hey, we
drinks.
love that.
How about favorite local restaurant?
Okay, so I had to think about this one for a second, but it's definitely going to be Bellacino's. Have you ever had Bellacino's pizza?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
sure have.
Oh, see, perfect.
Yeah.
I love Bellacino's pizza. Like I love pizza in general. So that's immediately what came to my head. I was like, oh,
yes, it's on the way home.
Yeah.
For me, so yeah, that's often
yeah. And some people
when I'm on the phone, do you need anything?
Yeah. Sometimes I'll call my friends and I'm like, hey, y'all want to go to Bellacino's? And like, what is that? And I'm like, what? How do you live in Gaston County and not know what Bellacino's is? It's like the best pizza.
Yeah, it's good. I agree. How about favorite outdoor activity in Gaston County or favorite park? Or
man, I'll tell you. So I am a lake junkie. Let me tell you. So
okay.
I love to wakeboard and surf. So,
okay, very good.
Yeah, so you will typically you'll find me on the weekends if it's nice and sunny and warm. I'll be on the Lake Wiley surfing.
So we're getting that time of year, right, where you can do that consistently.
You better believe it.
All right, so I'm gonna. This is my question, and I'm afraid I glanced at your sheet, so I'm afraid that you've already decided on the incorrect answer, but
well, I think with I may be a little scared to answer this one because judging from the tie that you're wearing,
is that obvious today?
And the cup.
So UNC, Duke, or NC State?
We're definitely going to go with UNC. Yeah.
Okay.
I knew it.
Thank you, Naomi. Yeah.
She keeps that on hand, that sound.
Yeah, she does. And she has learned which is the correct answer. Alan, what is something very few people know about you?
So fun fact. I actually have a terrible fear of heights. People will ask me all the time, to go to these amusement parks and things like that. Yeah, no, not for me.
That's
not for me at all.
Yeah.
My palms will get absolutely sweaty, and it's gross. But like my palms will get sweaty. Like anytime I have to go, any higher than like 5 or 6 stories on a building or something like that, absolutely not.
You're gonna stay to the interior, huh?
That's exactly right.
Oh, that's funny. Well, it's not really funny. It's funny when it's somebody else. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
How about a book or something you might recommend our listeners, or a blog, or another podcast you might listen to, or just anything that you might could share that might be good for our listeners? Yeah.
So there's actually a parent corner for kids with autism that I always try to listen to. They have there's a Facebook group mainly is where I see them a lot, but it's called Autism for Parents and for parents and kids, and it's for the surrounding counties as well too.
Oh, okay.
So I try to follow them a lot. There's always
so that's something online that you follow. Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
And so there's always a parent that's having a different day, or they're figuring out something, or they have found this great toy, or this or that, and they will always write about it. And so I find that very informative for our population and for myself.
Yeah, I mean, in the business world, we might call that a best practices group or something, right?
Every day's a learning day, right?
Why not learn from parents who may have already experienced that?
There you go.
Wow, so that's great.
Yeah.
So, listen, I appreciate you indulging us on those Gaston County questions. So just a few more questions, and we'll get this episode wrapped up. So,
sure.
Again, kind of remembering the point of the podcast is to talk about Gaston County and good things happening, which definitely your organization is part of that. So, but besides Ignited Minds ABA Therapy, why would you say Gaston County is such a great place?
Looking at my paper, I wrote down because of the community. And I know we previously talked about that, but that's kind of what I want to hit it home with is the community that supports our organization personally, and the community that actually gets around and supports our population is the biggest thing. It's an underserved population, so the fact that our community, anytime I announce an event or anything, we always have so many people coming out and helping, and that's the big thing for us. With our population being so underserved, to see that our community gets behind that, that's big.
Well, good. Well, that's great. That's a terrific answer.
Yeah.
So I think I say this every episode, and Naomi probably rolls her eyes every time I say that, but I think this is my favorite question. For you, this wasn't very, very many years ago. But knowing what you know now, Alan, what advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
To slow down just a little bit. Not everything has to be 90 miles a minute for anything that I do. I definitely need to slow down, and at times, even like if I'm meeting with a parent or something like that, I need to slow down and analyze some things, and try to get down to a certain level and understand the parents and kind of where they're coming from and stuff. I wish I would have learned that a while back.
Yeah, my patience maybe, and when I was 20, and my ability, I don't know, maybe ability is not the right word. I had the ability, but my understanding how to listen to others.
Yeah, see, I would definitely hit right there with you with the patience as well.
A little bit different than it is now. So, again, I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
So, Alan, this has really been good. So, again, the main point is to bring recognition and maybe there's listeners who are not familiar with the organization. So, again, where can listeners go to learn more about the organization, find out anything, if there are events coming up, just anything and everything you can share?
So obviously we have a Facebook. We have a huge following on Facebook. So it's Ignited Minds ABA. And so you can go on our Facebook, you can like and follow, and then you can also visit our website to get more information as well too about specifically what ABA is. So we kind of break that down on the website, what to expect, what to look for, and how to get started with ABA. So it's ignitedchildcare.com. And my personal contact information is on there. My email is on there as well too. So
Okay.
if any parents or anybody in the community just has any general questions, you can feel free to just snap our email right there, or pick up the phone and call me, because that is my direct cell phone number on the website. So,
okay, very good. Yeah, listen, I spent some time yesterday on the website. It's a great website. So it was very clear, and I came in, having a better understanding. Of course, I have a much better understanding now than I did an hour ago. But it was a really well done website. I find sometimes that's not the case, but yours is very well done.
Well,
so,
awesome. Thank you.
Any last words? Anything you'd like to share before we wrap this episode up?
Yeah, just definitely want to thank you guys again for having us here, and we appreciate the support. And I personally appreciate what you guys are doing, bringing more awareness to nonprofits and things like that within the community too. So
very good. Listen, we appreciate the work you do. It's been, the last 92 episodes and now 93. We've learned so much and met so many great people, and
I'm sure
it's confirmed kind of the point and the reason that we started this, right? And we've got a few more episodes scheduled, and surprisingly approaching episode 100, and I think Naomi's got something planned. I'm not sure what she's going to do.
Episode 100, we're going to celebrate.
Maybe. That might be the best thing to do. So, again, yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah.
So, like I always do, I'm going to finish up with my own book recommendation or podcast recommendation or something, and a quote or thought for the week. And I just finished a book a few weeks ago by a gentleman named Robert Glazer, who I don't remember how I was exposed to him. I don't know if it was one of the podcasts I listened to, but he wrote a book called Elevate. And it's basically, if you've listened to any episodes, you know I'm a big personal development and learning. I'm always reading something. But it was a really good book about just how to be better, how to focus on being better, whether it's intellectually, spiritually, physically. It was just and it was a relatively short read. So on occasion I would recommend something that's probably too long, but this one is relatively short. It's one I would recommend. So again, Robert Glazer, and the name of the book is Elevate. And my quote or thought for the week comes from William Penn, and sometimes I got to watch myself on the commentary I give to some of these quotes, so I'm not going to give too much commentary, but it seems like in the world we live in today, this might be a good one to keep in mind. But William Penn said, "Right is right, even if everyone is against it, and wrong is wrong, even if everyone is for it." And so I'll just leave that one there without any of my normal commentary, because Naomi says I need to be quiet sometimes. So to our listeners out there, thanks so much for taking the time to listen to today's episode. Please continue to spread the word if you can about the podcast, and please don't hesitate to contact us here at our email address, which is podcast@gastonsgreat.com. We're always looking for suggestions for future podcast topics and guests. You can find the podcast and subscribe at our website, which is gastonsgreat.com, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And please follow us on all our social media platforms. And apparently, as Naomi says every week, giving us a good 5-star rating helps the podcast get noticed, so please do that. Thanks again to Alan for being our guest today.
Absolutely.
Gaston Great is produced and brought to you by Naomi Hunt and Amy Anderson from GSM Services, and edited here locally by the Sumner Group. I'm your host, Stephen Long. Thanks again for hanging out with us, and please keep coming back to hear more reasons why Gaston's great.